So what's happening, YouTube? This video about clutch sports going at Bob Cousy, but there's a deeper meaning involved. Now, Rich Paul came out and said that if Kyrie Irving played back in Bob Cousy's days, he said, all due respect to Bob Cousy, Kyrie would handle that. And you can just kind of say that that's a back-eating diss, but is there more to it? Well, I've done investigating for years on this topic, and there was more to this because the Cincinnati Royals, Bob Cousy, who was the big-time point guard of his day and his time. Of course, you know about his success with the Celtics. He won 6 chips and everything, and he played with Bill Russell, etc. And Cousy was considered a handler for his day and his time. But when he coached the Cincinnati Royals, he had a guy who was an upstart point guard who he couldn't shake, a guy he couldn't rattle, a guy by the name of the Big O known as Oscar Robertson, a guy that Cousy took upon himself to almost bench and come out of retirement to try to show him up. A guy that he eventually had traded to the Milwaukee Bucks, who Oscar Robertson teamed up with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, then Lou Alcindor, and they won a championship together. Now, for the record, when we talk about who's the baddest point guard of the two, Oscar Robertson clears him by a country mile. Cousy had good handles and everything, but no one mentions him in the same context with Oscar Robertson. As this matter of fact, when Russell Westbrook broke the all-time triple doubles mark in the season, etc., it was Oscar Robertson's mark. Oscar Robertson did that without a three-point line, and until he got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he finally got over the hump in the finals to play with somebody. But remember how Oscar Robertson's numbers were so dominant, despite all the advantages that Bob Cousy had. So when I hear Rich Paul and them saying this, could they be talking in code? Now, Kyrie Irving does have great handles, and he does play a similar style to that, you know, with the ankle and the one, etc., etc. But we don't have to mention Kyrie Irving to make an example out of Bob Cousy or make your point. You could just say Oscar Robertson. You could have told the real story and the dynamics at work that were in place. For you could have just said if Oscar Robertson had an opportunity to play with Bill Russell, he'd have rings on his pinkies too, all both fingers. Could have been walking around like Liberace. I'm just saying because that's what is hinted to what I'm getting upon digging out further and further. And there was decision. Of course, Cousy downplays it, and Oscar Robertson's always stayed classy, but he talks in code. The old school don't really reveal a lot, but you can read between the lines. He had to know that he had to feel that Cousy in some ways was trying to sabotage his career and impede on what he was doing. He had to feel that way, you know. So this thing with clutch sports throwing shade at Bob Cousy runs deeper than just using Kyrie Irving. And Kyrie Irving could have been the aftermath of a Oscar Robertson who took on the league. See, these stories are deeper than they are once people can say it's conspiracy theories and you're veering and you're veering. Am I really though? Because think about it. Oscar Robertson was outspoken for his, and still is to this day. That's why he gets no love. That's why he's never been a commissioner. He gets no GM. He's an ambassador without a title. It's funny how they give Chris Paul, who's been playing for like 88 years, these titles of best leader and all that. But Oscar Robertson did all that. Oscar Robertson was that dude. I remember when Charles Barkley was talking about his all-time greatest players back in the day, he said Oscar Robertson. Oscar Robertson was a standard. No one was really... Cousy was good for what he did, but no one was cutting Cousy up against no Oscar Robertson. I mean, let me put it to you in modern context. Cousy is kind of like Steve Nash to Oscar Robertson, Steph Curry. Now, you know who's, you see who... I'm just going to keep it 100. And it's deeper. So when I read into it, at first I just kind of, clutch sports track because Rich Paul. But then when I thought about it and I said, well, Cousy, and maybe this is some get back for how he treated Oscar Robertson. And deep down, because Oscar Robertson didn't get his totality. He still hasn't really gotten what he, Because think about it, all that Cousy got on rings and he played with the Celtics and all that, and you're the point guard, white point guard at that. And of course, it always comes into favor about that. Let's keep it 100. But was it deeper? And I think there's some why that comes about. Usually I can't stand clutch sports and, of course, the LeBron narrative and the push for the agendas and stuff. But when Cousy's name comes up, and I remember how Oscar Robertson did get railroaded, and then I think about it, I don't really have a problem with this one because I know it runs deeper. It's just they're not going to come out and say it because the Oscar Robertson story hasn't been told in its totality uncut the way it should have been, but it runs deep. Please like, subscribe, work on thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another share if you like, and hit that membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out. Peace.